What's going on, Bears fans? It's Brandon, and it's time for another Bears Latest. This has been recorded on Friday, April the 18th. We are 6 days away from the NFL draft and 6 days away from finding out what the Bears are going to do with their draft picks and what they're going to do in Ben Johnson's first season as Chicago Bears head coach. Want to get you caught up on what is going on this week with the Bears. There's been some things that have happened since we last recorded. We prophesized earlier in the week that TJ Edwards would probably be up next for getting an extension since Kyler Gordon just got his. And as of Wednesday night, TJ Edwards ended up getting a 2-year extension for $20 million. $10 million a year. He is going to remain a Bear through the 2027 season. Another key member of this Bears team locked up. And super excited for TJ. He's outplayed the contract that he had signed originally and has been one of our most productive players on the defensive side of the ball. And the sky is the limit for TJ, I think, going into this upcoming season with Dennis Allen's new scheme. I think that he is going to be very productive and is going to have an opportunity to be able to wreak some havoc there on the defensive side, since Dennis Allen loves to play very aggressive and blitzing, and I think it's definitely going to play well for TJ Edwards and the rest of our Bears defenders. So, without further ado, congratulations, TJ, and bear down. Moving on. Something interesting came out the other day at Halas Hall. The assistant coaches met to meet with the crowd, to meet with the media, and kind of talk about where they're at so far in the off season and where they are looking to progress going into OTAs, training camp, you name it. Something that was interesting is that Dan Rochar, who is the offensive line coach for the Bears, made some interesting comments about the offensive line and its starters. He basically said the offensive line is wide open in terms of competition and that nobody has a spot yet. And that made my BS meter just kind of go through the roof, because think back to March, think back to free agency, and think about the couple of trades that led up to free agency. The Bears have 3 players that they have acquired in this offseason via trades and via free agency. I mean, you have to look at Drew Dahlman right there in the middle, anchoring as that much needed center that we have honestly not had since Olin Kreutz, plain and simple. And we made a great investment there. You can't tell me that he doesn't already have a spot. Jonah Jackson, you traded for him from LA. He's played with Ben Johnson before. He knows what Ben does. He knows that he puts players in the right position to succeed. So you can't tell me that Jonah Jackson doesn't have a spot. And then here's a no-brainer here for you folks. Our all-pro left guard, Joe Thuney, who has yet to play a snap in a Bears uniform, along with the other 2 that we've mentioned. You can't tell me you traded to get Joe Thuney and you're not going to start him, or at least announce him as a starter. So I have to call BS on that. And then Darnell Wright, who is going into year 3 and is a solid, a very good right tackle so far in his young career. I can't believe that he is not going to be a starter. So that leads me to believe Braxton Jones, thin ice. The seat is getting hot for him. Coming off of an injury going into the offseason, he's coming back from injury. He has got a lot to prove. I mean, if you remember, he was a fifth-round pick a few years back and was a solid draft pick there by Ryan Poles, and he's lived up to expectations. But here is the thing: you're walking in to the first round next week, and there are 3 offensive tackles that make a lot of sense for the Bears at pick 10. The most obvious one, and I don't even know if he'll last to this point, is going to be Will Campbell from LSU. They've talked about his size and his the arm length and things like that. But the guy has natural talent. He has high football IQ, and he rarely gave up sacks at LSU. I mean, he went up against the Will Andersons of the world while at LSU. And Will Anderson, as we know, plays for the Texans and plays very well as a pass rusher there. So he faced some great competition in the SEC. I think you can also look at Kelvin Banks Jr. as well. Kelvin Banks, I know a lot of people have knocked him on his footwork, but he's played his entire career at the left tackle position and has been absolutely successful for Texas in their run game, for Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning in the passing game. He would be able to step in and I feel like would have kind of that Trent Williams-like touch where he could go over there and start from day one, and you're set for 10 years. Or you could go with the prototype, the big risk, high reward, which would be Armand Membu from Missouri. You could possibly look at him and his build and his strength and slot him right in there. So plain and simple, I think that would be an interesting take right there, which leads me into this. And I know these couple are kind of bleeding over here, but my prediction is we go offensive tackle in round 1. Now, a lot has to be said how the board plays out in that top 10. So my crystal ball, while it is pretty shiny and accurate, is not 100% in this case, because depending on how other teams play out, especially if we see a Shedeur Sanders drop, that could really open some things up and we could have players falling to us. So I either see us getting Will Campbell there at 10, or depending on how the draft board is playing out, and if players like Banks or Membu are sliding, I could see the Bears even trying to trade back, gain a little bit of extra capital. But I honestly believe that we are looking at a pick for the trenches in round 1, and I do believe it's going to be one of those tackles. So be very interesting to see what happens next Thursday night. So stay tuned on that. And last but certainly not least, would like to wish our guy, Patrick Mannelly, longtime Chicago Bear, long-time long snapper. Wish him a very happy birthday. He was born on this day in 1975, which makes that guy a young, spry 50 years old. Congratulations, Patrick. He still owns records for most games started and the most seasons played in a Bears uniform. Both team records there. So, guy out of Duke, came in and from day one took over as long snapper and held that until the end of the Lovie Smith era, and then off into the sunset. So congratulations, happy birthday, Patrick. That is your Bears mentioning for today. And without further ado, I want to thank you all for coming out, giving us a shot, giving me a chance to provide you with your daily Bears dose. You're going to be seeing more videos. This is still very much a work in progress, but it is my job, my mission to bring you everything Bears-centered. And if you have any comments, you have questions, leave me some feedback down in the comments below, and hit a like if you like what you're seeing. And if you have suggestions on what you'd like to see on the program moving forward, please let me know, because not only is this a project of mine, this is actually your Bears Latest as well. So without further ado, I'm Brandon, and that was your Bears Latest. Bear down, happy Easter, and we'll see you next time.